Day as we get set for the Nats and Tigers from Vieira. Still some tough roster decisions to be made, while another opportunity to impress begins right now on Masson. It is warm and sunny and quite blustery here at Space Coast Stadium. Tigers of the Nationals, and guess what? Opening day is only a week and a half away, and things are getting very interesting. Bob Carpenter, welcome to Vieira. FP along in a moment. And hopefully for the Nats at this stage of spring training, the better the team, the better the players equals the more decisions to be made. Let's have a look at some of those because it's really interesting. First of all, in center field, all three of these guys are in the lineup today. Backup catcher, Ramos or Flores, and Ramos could get a lot more than backup role this year. Bullpen and fifth starter decisions still to be made. So FP, within the context of today's game, one of the real interesting things is all three guys battling for center field, Morgan, Bernardina, and Keel, they're all in the lineup.
Yeah, isn't it funny how the first time we were down here, everybody was tinkering with their stances, tinkering with their delivery. Now we're 10 days away from opening day, and it's go time. We got all three center fielders in the game today. They're facing a tough righty, Justin Verlander. Jim Riggleman wants to see what he's got. One of these guys could seal the deal today.
And then, of course, there's Tom Gorzolani fighting for the fifth spot, established Major League veteran. Never a big winner, but a guy who could be very useful to this ball club.
Yeah, we're anxious to see Gorzolani pitch today. We haven't had a chance yet. So, yeah, he's got a stranglehold on the fifth spot. I think he's going to be the fifth guy. Another interesting thing to watch today is Drew Storen. He's in the game. He'll be coming on later. There's been a lot of talk about him down here. For me, these guys, these relievers, these closer types, they're adrenaline junkies. They live on games that count. So 10 days away from opening day, these guys are ready to play games that count. Look for Drew Storen to have a good game today and be fine once the season starts.
And still trying to get that velocity up into the mid-90s now. Jason Worth, 5 RBIs down here, no homers, batting $194. Adam LaRoche at 375, 8 RBIs. These guys are tuning it up. Nationals and the Tigers here, Space Coast Stadium. Good crowd. Another sunny and very warm day. Spring baseball starting to wind it down, and this is the time of the year when guys are getting ready to play some meaningful games. Miguel Cabrera, we just learned, Well, actually, it was Magglio Ordonez, we just learned, has been pulled from the lineup. So Cabrera will be hitting behind Don Kelly, the right fielder. Cabrera, though, is having a good spring despite all the news you've been reading about him off the field, hitting .341 with 3 homers and 12 RBIs. Tom Gorzolany, his third start of the spring, ERA 4.26. And every one of these appearances, FP, for every one of these pitchers fighting for that spot, very, very critical.
Really strengthened his grip on the number 5 spot in the rotation. His last start against the Mets allowed 1 run in 4 innings, 2 hits, and 3 walks. He struck out 4. Only allowed 1 ball out of the infield against the Mets last time, a double to David Wright. Key for him to stay on top of the baseball. His arm slot is key.
Tigers are hitting .257 this spring. They've scored 102 runs in 25 games. Not a whole lot of offense. They've got the pitching staff that can make up for a lot of that. And we're on time at 1:05 Eastern. Very windy. It's blowing straight in from right center, 75 degrees. And that means the wind's coming hard from the south today. A lot of times it's just the opposite here, and it becomes a bandbox. It'll be a pitcher's park today. This is Casper Wells, Grand Rapids, Michigan product. And the 26-year-old swings and foul tips that one. .323 for the Tigers in 36 games last year. Last year, Detroit looked like world beaters when the Nationals were up there at Comerica Park for interleague play, sweeping the Nats. They would go on under Jim Leland, though, to finish only 81-81, 13 games behind the Twins. One of the great baseball men right there, Jim Leland. His 6th year with the Tigers. American League Manager of the Year 5 years ago when he took them to the World Series, losing to St. Louis. And we talked with Jim a couple of hours ago. FP and I had a chance to visit with him some. Tigers don't have that many decisions to be made. On a normal day, that ball's flirting with the wall. It's an easy play for Roger Bernardino. Wind coming straight in, and how many center fielders can play in one game?
3, 2 on defense and 1 DH. But here's the defense behind Gorzolany today for the Nationals. Bernardina and Keelan Worth in the outfield. Gonzalez and Harrison on the left side. Cora and LaRoche on the right side. And Wilson Ramos doing the catching.
Nationals have made 25 errors this spring. And neither of these starting middle infielders in there today, with Gonzalez and Cora up the middle. Ian Desmond played a long game yesterday. Danny Espinosa has a little bit of an injury bug, but nothing serious. It's been kind of one of those aches and pains sort of weeks for the Nats. Next up is Ryan Rayburn, .280 for the Tigers in 113 games last year. Tampa, Florida native. And then Don Kelly on deck. Gorzolany never overpowering. Has to be very fine. As they say, in and out, up and down. Change eye levels for the hitters. Changing speeds. And it's 3-1.
I talked to Steve McCaddy today before the game, Nationals pitching coach, and he had a meeting with his guys today. You know, last time we were here, Bob, the staff was lights out. They've run into a little bump in the road throughout spring training, that dead arm period that a lot of starters will go through. He said it's all about strike one today. I just want to see strike one from everybody.
Oh, nifty play on the backhand side. Alberto Gonzalez. Pardon me, Hairston playing next to Gonzalez over on the left side. I think Jerry knew that if he hangs back for that ball, FP, tough throw, so he comes forward to make the backhanded short hop.
Yeah, knowing your runner is part of playing third base. And, you know, when you're a utility player and you go over there, you're used to seeing the ball and reading hops at short and second. But when you go to third, you know, the ball's playing you. Do or die play for him. Great job right there on the short hop of the backhand side.
I know Jerry told us last week he'll play anywhere, but he really loves being at shortstop. Very, very good play. And here's Don Kelly hitting .293 on the spring. .244 for the Tigers with 27 RBIs last year. And on the appeal by Ramos, Mike Estabrook says no swing. Ed Hickox, by the way, has the plate today. Gary Cedarstrom, Hunter Wendelstedt, and Mike Estabrook on the bases. On a 2-0 pitch that was hanging a bit, punished into the corner but hooking foul.
Don Kelly making the trip over from Lakeland today. Thought he'd watch a big league baseball game on the bench for about 5 or 6 innings, go in there and caddy for Maglio Ordonez, and then he got the call about 10 minutes before the game that he's starting. Usually you have good games when that happens. You're not thinking about anything. You just go up there and let your ability take over. You weren't supposed to play anyways. After the first initial shockwave hits, you relax and play baseball.
2-1 pitch. And Gorzolani falls behind 3-1 again. National staff, ERA has ballooned a bit up to 4.57. We were here less than a week ago. It was 3.87. Fly balls can be an adventure today. That one moving around. Adam LaRoche ends up making an interesting grab. At a 1-2-3, top of the first for Tom Gorzolani. Well, nothing's more relaxing than a little pregame contest of backgammon. We saw some folks over at our hotel putting together a big puzzle in the lobby on one of the tables. You just see things down here where fans are a little more relaxed. Not so for the lineup today. Niger is the DH. And Keel and Bernardino also in the lineup. Adam LaRoche, 100 RBIs for the Diamondbacks. Now, Adam has not hit a home run in the spring yet. Neither has Jason Worth. But the batting average just fine at 375. Those are guys who know what they need to do by opening day to be ready. Justin Verlander appears to be ready, FP. His numbers down here very impressive. 2-0 this spring with a 1.2 ERA.
Yeah, you know about the power fastball that can reach 100, power curveball, slider, and change. You know, he's a typical slow starter in April. 7-11 with a 5.06 ERA in the first month of the season. Jim Leyland and Justin Verlander have approached spring training this year like it is the month of April. He has a new intensity. He's matured. His bullpen sessions have had a lot of focus in him. We talked to Jim Leyland today. He's got a different approach to spring training this season.
And Leland made a very interesting point about young players, pitchers or position players. He said when they first get to the big leagues, they often don't know how to handle the life of a major league player, don't know how to prepare properly. A lot of kids are rushed to the big leagues now more than ever before, and it takes them a while to really find out who they are and get their identity as a major league player. This is a guy who's still only 27 years old.
And you learn how to pitch throughout the process. You come up and you throw 100 miles an hour right away. You blow people away. You know, as you get more mature, as you get older, going from 19-9 in 2009 to 18-9 in 2010, all the innings pitched, you become more mature and you're a pitcher out there instead of just a thrower.
Fastball tailing up and away from Niger, who strikes out.
The defense today behind Justin Verlander. Rayburn in left, Wells in center, Kelly in right, Peralta and Inge on the left side, Santiago and Cabrera on the right side, and Alex Avila doing the catching today for the Tigers.
And another one of their catchers, Victor Martinez, is serving as the DH. Here's Rick Ankiel. Guys are going to go up hacking. If this pitcher gets you 0-2 or 1-2, you are in big trouble. So they want to get him early in the count. Dropping one down and away from the left-hander. Ankiel looking back and having a chat with the umpire about that pitch.
Yeah, that's not fair. You go up there looking for a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You get 2 changeups right out of the gate, 85 and 85 swing through.
He wouldn't throw 3 in a row, would he?
Let's see.
Curveball. See ya. Wow. That is filthy. 2 outs.
That's the one trap you can fall into when you're facing a hard thrower. You go up there sitting on the heat because you have to respect the 100 miles an hour, 96, 97, 98, whatever it is, off of Verlander. You can't go up there and sit soft. So early in the count, like you said, Bob, you're looking for a fastball. And Rick Ankiel gets 2 changeups and a hammer. Thanks for coming.
Hey, did you see the gun there? 85 on the hook? 85? That's not fair.
And you see the location right there. That was only 89, a fastball in the outer half. But that's the difference between Verlander of old and the Verlander of new, the more mature version. Just painting the outside corners with his fastball. And this is a good test today for the Nationals hitters to see where you're at. We talked about it in the Open. You're 10 days away from opening day. Where are you at? Are you ready for games that count right now? And no better test than to face one of the elite right-handers in the American League.
Worth hitting a .194 without a home run. Lifting one in the air to right. Drifting with it, Kelly. Each team will go 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. Verlander off to a typical start. He's been nails this spring. No score as they relax on the berm here in left field. Masson has a new show dedicated to you, the fan, the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. 90 minutes of news and info about the Nats, the rest of the league. Live look-ins for batting practice, reports from the field. FP and I will contribute occasionally. Roundtable discussions. Tom Davis, Phil Wood, Dave Johnson, Mel Antonin. Hottest topics in sports, the maximum access to your favorite teams, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6:30 right here on Masson. We're going to give you wall-to-wall baseball from 5 o'clock on every night. Awesome. Here he is, Miguel Cabrera, top of the second. Having a good spring. 341, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. You would hate to see a young man and a young player like this squander what could be an amazing career, FP, if he can't take care of some of those things that are hounding him off the field.
Yeah, and hopefully he does. And you look at his numbers, it doesn't seem to have affected him thus far. The spring training started off rocky, as we all know, but he seems to be locking it in late.
328 last year, 150 games, 38 homers, 126 RBIs. Of course, the Nats don't have to look at him as much as we had to put up with him years ago when he was with Florida. Always seemed to hurt Nationals pitching. And he goes out and spoils a pretty good 1-2 pitch from Gorzolany.
And that's what good hitters do. 2 strikes in the count. They spoil the borderline pitches. They buy themselves another pitch from Gorzolany. Miguel Cabrera is as good as anybody in baseball doing that.
There's Victor Martinez, who's next. Wind has shifted a little bit, blowing from the left field corner over toward right. And Tom Gorzolany gets a pretty good breaking ball into the dirt to strike out Cabrera.
Good pitch by Gorzolany right there, following up the fastball away to Cabrera with the breaking ball in the dirt, getting him to chase. Good 2-strike pitch.
Ramos, a very good fundamental block. 4 outs in a row for Gorzolany, and here's Victor Martinez. Third start for Tom. ERA 4.26 coming in. He's now pitched 7 2/3 innings. 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. Control a bit of an issue. now 6 strikeouts and 6 walks.
You talking about control being an issue. I had an interesting conversation with Pudge this morning about strike one and how effective and what a difference it makes to get ahead in the count, to throw strike one to a hitter. Now you got him on his heels. You can use your whole repertoire. You throw ball one, you're behind. Now, you have to come in the strike zone. The hitters know they sit fastball. Just by getting that first strike, just by throwing strike one, that's what Steve McCaddy was preaching today to his pitchers. Get ahead in the count, and you can use everything you have after that.
2-1 now.
Man, just talking to Pudge, I played against him over the years, but getting to know him here in camp, what a knowledgeable guy. Caught so many games, seen so many pitches back there, put down so many fingers. The guy's just got a great knowledge of the game of the baseball. One of the smartest guys I've ever been around when it comes to the game.
Gorzolany turns one over, misses low and away, 3-1. Tom Gorzolany last year with the Cubs, 29 games, 23 starts. He had 7 no decisions in those starts. He went 7-9. And he misses low. None of those really bad pitches. Didn't miss by much. Competition is what it's all about down here with a team like the Nats. And right now, who is that number 5 guy? Are we looking at the front runner right now?
I think so. He'd have to pitch his way out of the 5th spot. It's basically his right now. It's all he has to do is go out there and do what he's done, especially follow up that great outing he had against the Mets last time. So, yeah, this is the guy right now talking to, some people with the Nationals. This is his job to lose.
Johnny Peralta, the shortstop, hitting .238. Longtime Indian, moved to the Tigers last year. 91 games in Cleveland, 57 in Detroit. Hit right around .250 for the season. He's got some pop for an infielder, 15 home runs. Gorzolany turns that one over, misses way outside, 1-1. The way Gorzolany's been pitching today, he's looking for the ground ball here. Everything has been down.
That's a good spot right there. He's been around the strike zone early. And if I was pitching today with the wind gusting out to right field, I would pitch all these right-handers in as well. Good game plan by Gorzolany. Bust the right-handers in early, maybe off-speed down late.
Really good outing in Port St. Lucie against the Mets last time. Target in. That pitch was a little bit up. Peralta couldn't get over the top of it. And the count's even 2-2.
That's a good point, Bob. That pitch is not where you want it today. He's done a good job so far of keeping the ball down the strike zone. That one was up in the turbo zone, and Peralta wishes he had that one back.
But if you've kept the ball down, even when you make a mistake upstairs, you're changing the eye level, and Peralta couldn't react quickly enough. Let's see where he goes here. 2-2 pitch. Out of play right side. Nationals will be down in Jupiter tomorrow to play St. Louis. Levon will start that game. Sean Burnett, Doug Slayton, Todd Coffey slated to pitch. We're also expected to see Coffey here today, along with Craig Stammen, Drew Storen, and possibly Tyler Clippard. Levo, as usual, terribly concerned about that tomorrow. And there's a swing and a miss as Verlander goes off speed. Keeps it away from Peralta, and he gets his second strikeout.
You see all the fastballs in set up that pitch. You make a hitter aware of a good fastball. And Gorzelani can go between 88 and 92 with his fastball. So making him aware of the fastball in, knowing that you have to respect that pitch, set up that changeup right there. Good pitch.
Next up is Lynchburg, Virginia's Brandon Inge. Hitting .225 in the spring. Numbers down a little bit last year for this former catcher. One of his lowest batting averages ever, hitting only .247. He's always been a power pack for his size, though. They list him at 5'11", 188. No swing, says Gary Cederstrom. Ball 2.
And did he go? I want to say no, but I always err on the side of the hitter. I never think. There wasn't one time I ever thought I went on a check swing. And then you argue and you go back to the dugout, go down the film room and look. Oops. Yeah, sorry. Wave to the umpire from the dugout. Sorry, I went right there. My bad. I didn't mean to argue. It's a full swing.
Trying to buy a call for next time, huh?
Absolutely.
Cabrera at first. Rather Martinez with 2 outs after he walked. And Gorzelani goes 3-1.
And see, this is where you don't want to get, especially in a small ballpark where it's blown out to right field in these situations. You don't want to cripple yourself and get yourself into trouble in a 3-1 count. Now Brandon Inge is looking dead red right down the middle. He's going to get off a big swing.
He does, right center. Rick Ankiel bobbles the ball. They could give him an error because I'm not sure Martinez was going to third. And the Tigers will have a corner situation with 2 outs on the first base into the game.
And you see, you get to the 3-1 count as a hitter, you're sitting dead red. Fastball right out over the plate. Brandon Inge, nice job of going with the pitch. Rick Ankiel, maybe in a little bit of a hurry right there, took a peek. With 2 outs as a center fielder, you know, you don't have to be in such a hurry to throw.
And with his arm, wow.
Maybe he's in a hurry to show it off because he does have a cannon. And
they do give him an error, and that's his first of the spring. Doesn't matter how long you've been in this game, FP. The fundamental thing of watching the ball all the way into your glove comes into play for rookies, veterans, you name it. And Ankiel took a peek, and it cost the Nationals 90 feet. Alex Sevilla now the catcher to take on Gorzelani with 2 outs.
And we'll probably talk about it a lot during the broadcast today, but when you got Bernardina out there and Ankiel out there, Niger Morgan DHing today, all 3 of these guys are going for a starting job for the Washington Nationals. They're all going for center field. So while we came down here the first time, it was relaxed and guys were working on things. It's crunch time right now. Maybe these guys are feeling it a little bit.
Good breaking ball. Gorzelani finally glad to see a left-handed batter. Bernardina can absolutely fly. There's no doubt that Ankiel has a better arm. Roger has superior speed to just about anybody on the team. You talk about coverage in the gaps, though. Wow. And with Niger out there, not much different, although he easily has the weakest arm of the 3. That ball lofted toward left center. Ankiel is there. And the Nats are out of the inning. Despite a walk, a hit, and an error. No score, middle of the second. Adam LaRoche will lead off. Adam LaRoche, Wilson Ramos, and Roger Bernardina for the Nats, bottom of the second. Consistency is his motto. Short time in Boston. He told me this morning one of the big reasons the Nationals were attractive to him is because he wanted to stay in the National League. Not a 30 to 35 home run guy, but he drove in 100 last year. But he said something that I think is important, FP, for you and I to pass along to our audience and our Nationals fans today. Adam thinks that at a couple of stops that at times he's been misunderstood in his major league career. He said, I'm not a rah-rah guy. You know, I'm not going to jump up and down. I'm going to pull a guy aside when we're off camera and out of sight and tell him maybe what he's done wrong or what he's done right. He said, but, you know, I don't seek the coverage of the cameras and things like that. And he said, at times my demeanor on the field, because I try to play the game relaxed, can be perceived as I'm not out there busting my butt. And he said, nothing could be further from the truth. He said, I'm a hard worker. I want to win every day. I want to make every at-bat a very good one. And I think that's important for us to tell our fans in advance, because sometimes when a guy's not going well, and that'll happen to every hitter during the season, people are like, well, he looks like he doesn't care. This is the way that Adam LaRoche plays the game and the way he approaches his business every day.
Well, he's not a look-at-me guy, and you love to have guys like that on your team. And what is he? He's a good teammate, and that's all he really cares about. And it's funny how it's perceived when you're going bad that you don't care because of your body language and you're a laid-back kind of guy. But the one thing I will say, he's a look-at-me guy with his stats, 25 home runs a year, close to 100 RBIs, and everybody I've talked to that's played with him in the past has said he's a great teammate.
Last Monday night, Adam LaRoche hosted a par 3 golf tournament for anybody in the organization who wanted to sign up down the road. They had 44 to 45 guys show up, and they had an absolute blast. And Adam put the whole thing together. And he told me he got the idea when he was just driving by and saw the course lit up at night and thought they could go over there and have a little fun. It was a great source of camaraderie for the whole team. Well, he's gone on strikes. Just about everybody else has so far as well. 4 batters, 3 strikeouts for Justin Verlander, who's now struck out 16 batters this spring, walking 2.
Man, that changeup he's featuring today is unhittable. It really is. I mean, when you're going up there, like I've said already, repeating myself, looking for that fastball, if you don't get it, if you foul it off, or you maybe not even see it, it's not just a changeup. Look at the movement on it. It's 85 miles an hour. It's diving down and away from left-handed hitters. And you don't win 18 games and 19 games the last couple of years by mistake at the major league level. You got to have pretty good stuff to put those kind of numbers up.
3.37 ERA last year in 33 starts, which in the American League is a phenomenal ERA. That ball really hit hard to left center. Ramos is going to two-hop the wall right off the Masson sign with the Nats' first hit of the day. Wilson came in hitting .267.
And everyone's been raving about Wilson Ramos, the way he swings the bat, the amount of pop that he has and the sound that the ball makes off his bat. He got his fastball right there, and he put it in play. Didn't wait around for that nasty curveball, that nasty changeup. Great piece of hitting fastball out over the plate, and smoked a double against traffic, against the wind in left center field.
Tigers got to see a little bit of him last year with Minnesota, not a lot. Here's Bernardina hitting .268. Roger has 7 RBIs.
And then if you're Roger Bernardina, all these at-bats count right now. I mean, you look at Morgan struck out and Keel struck out. You don't think guys look at that? I'm competing with these guys. They struck out. If I could put a ball in play hard right here, you know, advantage me.
Tough enough in spring training when you're competing against opposing pitchers to a certain extent. You're also facing your teammates. You're battling for a job every time up there.
And you don't root against your teammates. That's not what's going on. It's just healthy competition. And you see what they do. You're aware of what they're doing. You're not, you know, all encompassed in what they're doing, but you know what's going on. You get to this level, you know, you've competed enough at different levels to know, hey, a couple of guys struck out in front of me. I got to go up there and do something now.
Bernardina gets one that's flared to left center, and covering that ground is Wells for the second out. You can expect a season full of action with the all-inclusive Power Pack ticket. Starts at $25. This season-long plan offers parking, food, and drink. Stop by nationals.com/powerpack for more info. Some restrictions apply. Exciting new promotion and ticket deal from the Nats. All inclusive. Jerry Hairston hitting .212 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Ramos at second base.
I talked to Jerry before the game today. These guys are ready to go north. They're ready to break camp. They're ready to play games that count. Spring training for me is just a hair too long. And when you have veteran players like Hairston and Worth and Cora and LaRoche, these guys are ready for the bright lights in the big city. They've been down here. They've got their work done. You know, now they're focused on locking it in, getting some hits, and being right when they go north. But they're ready to play games.
That's a nasty breaking ball. Quickly 0-2.
There just comes a time in every camp where, you know you've done what you need to do. You've put the hay in the barn. Now let's go play and see if that work pays off. This is the toughest time of spring training for these guys.
That's a wild pitch. Avila did well just to get his arm on that ball. I'm not even sure he got it with his mitt. Might have gotten him on the wrist or the arm to block it. Ramos easily over to third base with 2 outs.
Yeah, I don't know if he would tell you that he did well getting his arm on this baseball, because that doesn't feel good right there with the 55-foot hammer in the dirt. You see the shot right there. It wasn't even on our camera. That might have hit grass. So Verlander trying to throw the turbo curveball. If you're Jerry Hairston Jr. right now with 2 outs, you could know that he's going to file that pitch. He doesn't want to bounce one and throw a wild pitch that leads to a run. So as a hitter right here, you look for something up in the strike zone.
Scoreless ball game, bottom of the second. Each team's now had a runner as far as third base. Verlander off the full windup, and he jams Hairston out behind short. Peralta will let the left fielder call him off. Rayburn has it, and the Nats are gone in the second. Each team has stranded at least a runner. No score into the third. Tom Gorzelany's solid through 2. Hit. A couple of runners stranded in the second inning. He has fanned 2, walked 1. Your thoughts so far?
So far, so good. And talking to Steve McCaddy today, it's all about his elbow being up, being on top of the baseball. And you look at the downward action on the off speed. He's been down in the strike zone for the most part and done a nice job. Most important thing, and I've been talking about this a lot, Bob, this is our 4th game together, tempo, going out there, getting the ball, pounding the strike zone, keeping your defense off the field.
Best season with the Pirates 4 years ago. He went 14-10 with a 3.88 In 32 starts, the only time in his career he's pitched 200 innings. And then 7 and 9 with the Cubs last year. Number 9 hitter for the Tigers here in the third will be Ramon Santiago. ...112 games last year, 263 for the 31-year-old shortstop from the Dominican. Nationals, by the way, now have a record of 10 and 11 down here. Tigers are 16 and 9. Back to the top of the order, and Casper Wells next. By the way, the Tigers, of course, visiting from Lakeland. They have been in Lakeland, Florida for 66 years for spring training. The next longest club I could find tenured at their present location in spring training are the Pirates, 43 years in Bradenton. Almost everybody in Arizona has a new stadium or a new home out there. But as constant as the calendar are the Tigers showing up in their beloved Lakeland every year. Santiago late for that one, out of play. It's 1-2 still.
Yeah, and Lakeland was in the Florida State League when I was there, and that was one of our least favorite stops, although we used to wear out the Sizzler salad bar in Lakeland. At that time, that's all that Lakeland, Florida had. Not a big fan.
There's a good fastball tailing away. And that's strikeout number 3 for Gorzolani. So he retires 7 of the first 9 men he faces, 3 of them on strikes.
And what did he do in that at-bat? It was all about strike one, a two-seam fastball down and away to Santiago. He finishes him off right there with the off-speed stuff. But as a hitter, when you're behind in the count, you're going up there 0-1. Now you're in defense mode. That's why strike one is so important.
Here's Casper Wells, who flied to left to lead off the game. Target is up and in. He hit it pretty well. And fortunately, that one about 10 feet too tall to have us scrambling in here again. After a near disastrous loss of a play-by-play man last weekend.
You had a magnet in your pocket.
Players call those ugly finders. How about that finder for Hairston? 2 outs. Jerry Hairston, beautifully done down at the hot corner. I love this team's potential bench this year.
Yeah, potential bench is going to be a potential starter if he keeps making plays like that. You want guys like that in the lineup to give you energy and to make the plays defensively. The most important thing for a utility guy, a guy that plays maybe once or twice a week, wherever you put him, that he makes the plays. If you get some hits on offense or score some runs, it's a bonus. Just make the plays wherever Jim Riggleman puts you. Jerry Hairston Jr. always seems to do that. And
as a pitcher now, that gives you a big lift. See if he can go ahead and close out the inning quickly here against Ryan Rayburn. And he was robbed of a hit on a good play by Hairston, first time up. Counts even 1-1.
Well, it goes back to tempo, too. Gorzolani's got the good tempo out there. He's throwing strike one. The defense is on their toes. You'll see plays made like that behind guys that work quick.
2-1. You know, but your bench, you're looking for guys who can get hits, but also play defense for you late in ball games. And when you look at Cora and Hairston, some of the others that are involved, they can do those things. That ball hooking to left. Bernardina covers it. It had such severe overspin on it. Roger had no chance at all to catch that ball. And a 2-out hit will get Don Kelly to the plate.
A great job by Bernardina getting over on this ball. An even better job of throwing an absolute rocket to second base. You know, right there with 2 outs, a lot of guys will try to stretch that into a double, take a chance. Wow. Look at that throw by Bernardina right there.
You know, and that's a little 2-out throw. Things like that do not go unnoticed in the dugout. Everybody loves to show off their arms. There's a quick move by Gorzolani, and Rayburn basically and barely got back. Wow.
You know, little things like that don't go unnoticed on the mound either. If you're throwing in this game like Gorzolani, you appreciate a guy hustling over and cutting a double off like that.
That throws a little bit lower. That runner's out. Fastball in there. You would love to see Miguel Cabrera lead off the top of the 4th.
Yes, absolutely. Got a left-on-left matchup right here. This is the guy he wants for obvious reasons.
That ball jacked to right. On a day like this, it's not going to hold it, and it's gone. With the wind blowing to right field, that is way out of here, and the Tigers lead 2-0. Appeared to be a classic left-handed hitter's swing, FP. On a ball down, he went down and just dropped the bat head right on it.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Don Kelly getting the last-minute start. Usually you have good games when that happened, but Tom Gorzelani last year against left-handed hitters, 286 average with 4 home runs. So, not a lot to get him out with right there. A pitch on the inner half of the plate. I don't know if that pitch was struck that well, though. He got the wind gusting out to right field.
And Cabrera lines went out to right center for Ankiel, and the inning is over. Tigers make plenty of 2-out noise. Middle of the third now. It's Detroit 2-0. Don Kelly hit 9 homers for the Tigers last year. That was his first of the spring, and Detroit leads it 2-0. We were talking a few moments ago about the possible bench. Stairs, the great hitter. Nick's big, strong guy. We know all about Alberto Gonzalez. Hairston and Cora, 2 very intriguing newcomers, but newcomers only to our ball club. We've known them for a long time.
Yeah, you like that veteran presence on the bench. Guys that know their role, guys that are not going to be disgruntled if they go 7 or 8, 9 games without playing. And guys that you know when you put them in there, you're not going to lose a whole lot. They're going to make plays wherever you put them, get on base, do little things to win baseball games. And on top of that, just the influence that these guys like an Alex Cora, Matt Stairs, has had in this clubhouse in spring training. Every time we talk to the younger players, they always go right to Alex Cora told me this. Matt Stairs was telling me this the other day. These guys have been a great influence to these guys here in camp.
Cora, Gonzalez, and Morgan here in the third. Niger, the DH, in case you weren't with us for the bottom of the first. And Alex will just bump one into right field for a base hit. Adding, by the way, to his 400 batting average this spring. Now, here's why you need people like this, FP, because the Nationals' defense was still very suspect at times last year.
You need guys that are going to catch the baseball. We talked about in our last broadcast the influence Adam LaRoche is going to have over at first base. Just from a defensive standpoint, if you're an infielder and you know you got a good glove man at first base, it takes a lot of pressure off you with your throws. You don't have to be perfect. You know you can make a mistake, and he's going to pick you up.
Cora now batting .423 this spring.
Yeah, but those bloopers, right, you got to save those for the season. Those little bloopers over the infield, you don't want to waste those down here. Those are beautiful. You want hard outs during spring training.
Alberto Gonzalez is hitting .262.
Verlander's got one of the best moves, one of the best right-handed moves in baseball. Quick feet, throws the ball hard to first base. He picks off a lot of runners.
Oh, they got him picked off. Cabrera tags Cora, who was hoping Miguel would throw to second. Maybe he could get back. And the pickoff goes 1-3 for the first out here in the third.
1-0 count, good count to hit and run, and maybe that's what was going on right there. For Alex Cora in a hit and run, that can't happen. Verlander has a good move. Just caught him leaning a little bit right there, and that's all it takes when you got a guy in the mound with a plus pickoff move to first base.
And there are a couple of guys sitting over by that third base dugout, or in the dugout, who have seen enough baseball that probably snuffed out that situation pretty well. Gene Lamont coaches third for Jim Leland. He's a former manager. Former Pirate manager Lloyd McClendon, of course, played for Leland in Pittsburgh. He's their hitting coach. There's a breaking ball that Gonzalez punishes up the middle. 2 consecutive hits by the Nats. Next up is Niger Morgan, who's DHing today.
We've seen this curveball be a 55-foot version. We see that one right over the plate. Nice job by Gonzalez staying through the baseball right there. Great adjustment to the off speed. And getting back to that Cora thing, you know, Alex Cora's on first base. You probably had the hit and run sign. 1-0 is a great count to hit and run in. As a base runner, the Tigers, Jim Leland threw over a couple times already. Alex Cora probably thinking, there's no way they're coming over again. I'm not a base stealer, and they caught him.
Now, over the years, 2-1 has been identified as a great hit and run count. You say 1-0. Can that have something to do with the pitcher, too?
You just know
that you might run a little earlier in the count against a Verlander than you do somebody else?
No, I think 1-0 or 0-0 are the best counts to hit and run, and either first pitch hit and run or, you know, a 1-0. I used to look down there and hope that they gave me a hit and run with 1-0, because you know the pitcher has to throw a strike. He doesn't want to get behind 2-0. A guy like Verlander has command, so you know the ball's going to be in the strike zone. If you got a guy that can handle the bat at the plate and a good runner at first base, that used to be the best count for me to hit and run in.
We have one more spring telecast for you. It'll be an evening meeting with the Cardinals here on Friday, 6 o'clock, Mass and HD, St. Louis and Washington. Then the mad scramble will be on for all the gear, all the equipment, and everybody to get to D.C. in time for Nats Fest a week from Wednesday, and the opener 1 o'clock on Thursday. 31st against the Braves. Morgan shows bunt, skips away from a low inside fastball, 2-1. You don't see many leadoff guys who DH. Usually reserved for a power RBI guy. Great off-speed pitch. In fact, the only one I can remember that did it on any kind of regular basis was back in the early 90s. Remember Alan Wiggins, who was with San Diego? When he came over to Baltimore, they DH'd him for a time. But it's very rarely that you give up power to put any other kind of hitter in that spot. But today it serves a purpose, getting to see Niger, Bernardina, and Keel all in the same game as you addressed earlier.
Yeah, leadoff guys, you know, are usually fast, and fast usually translates on defense as well. So you know, you're taking away a big aspect of their game if you're just having them hit. And with Niger Morgan today, talked to Jim Wrigley, you see all these guys on the field at once. So he's going to take charge of that center field job.
2-2 count. Close, ball 3.
I think the interesting thing to see, if Niger Morgan is not the starting center fielder, who's going to lead off for the Nationals? Who's going to be their leadoff guy? Look at the 2-2 pitch fastball just down the strike zone. Good take.
That's a midseason call by Ed Hickox right there.
It's a midseason take.
There's some umpires who would have rung him up in Florida for that one. Runner going, and a flare to left. Wind is knocking it down. It's a base hit. Look at this base running play by Gonzalez. And then when the ball is booted, Morgan goes to second. What a great base running read by Alberto Gonzalez to go first and third on a hit like that.
It's one of the main things the Nationals have been focusing on down here in Vieira, Florida, is running the bases aggressively, breaking up double plays, going first to third, taking the extra base. A great read by Gonzalez right there, knowing that ball was going to drop off the bat with one out and going right in the face of Rayburn. See what happens? You put a little bit of pressure on the defense. Rayburn bobbles the ball. He peeks up and looks. Morgan gets to second base. Now you got second and third, one out because you were aggressive.
3 consecutive hits. Here's Rick Ankiel. Verlander gave him the old good morning, good afternoon, good night with 2 changeups and a curveball first time up.
Gets a first pitch fastball. It's probably the last thing he was looking for after his first at-bat.
There's the breaking ball that struck him out first time.
I mean, you could go up there as a hitter and see 5 breaking balls and 3 changeups and, you know, in 5, 8 pitches, whatever it is, but you still have to look for the fastball. You can't get off the fastball on a guy like Verlander. You have to keep it in your head. This is what I'm looking for. I'm sitting dead red. If he throws anything else, I'm either taking it or trying to adjust. I mean, it's tough to go up there and sit on a changeup or a curveball when a guy throws high 90s.
Second time today, Verlander's gone to the full windup with a runner at third. Gonzalez in this case, and then Nyjer Morgan 90 feet behind him. The pickoff hurt. Nationals have 3 consecutive hits, but still haven't scored. There's the breaking ball, and Ankiel stays with it to foul it away. Quite a battle here as we get to the end of spring training. Nobody really tearing it up offensively. Ankiel has the most power of the 3. Bernardina and Morgan can fly, but who's going to hit for any kind of average?
Yeah, but stats and average is for fans and us. You know, for Jim Riggleman and Mike Rizzo, excuse me, it's about production. It's about at-bats like this right here with runners on second, third, and one out. You know, what kind of approach do you have at the plate? Are you hitting balls hard? Are you doing the little things?
Ankiel rung up by Verlander again. On a pitch well outside, Ed Hickox misses it and calls out Ankiel. Hard to fault Rick Ankiel for taking that pitch. What was he going to do with that? And if the ball's 6 inches outside and you get called out on strikes, what are you going to do?
You turn to the umpire and you say he doesn't need any help today.
Not a good call. 2 outs, and here's Worth. Breaking ball well outside. I'm sure there will be a visit to the video room behind the first base dugout pretty quickly to check out that one. Jason Worth flied to right first time up. A chance for him to grab a couple of 2-out RBIs here. And he goes front door with the breaking ball and misses on the other side of the plate.
Not necessarily a fastball count right here for Worth with first base open and 2 outs, but you still got to look for it out over the plate, something you can drive right back up the middle.
He got a fastball and misses away 3-0.
Well, this should be a green light.
I have noticed, by the way, they've walked Jason Worth 10 times this spring. There have been certain pitchers not messing much with him, although a good left-handed bat is on deck in LaRoche. At the knees, we think.
Sometimes you don't pitch around guys in the spring, but if you talk to Justin Verlander and the Detroit Tigers, they're talking about he's approaching these spring training starts like it's the regular season. He's gotten off to slow starts throughout the year, so he's putting himself in regular season mode right now.
Worth gets pretty good wood on a ball to left. Rayburn is under it, though. And the Nats will have a runner picked off, 2 other hits, and they will strand a couple. They've left 3. Middle innings coming here in Vieira, 2-0 Tigers. Justin Verlander gets out of a pickle in the third inning. Tom Gorzolany has thrown 3 pretty good innings, but a mistake to Don Kelly, resulting in 2 runs. Kelly's first home run last inning of the spring.
Tom Gorzolany doing a good job of keeping the ball down for the most part. He's had a good tempo out there, making good pitches when he has to. Just the one mistake with the 2-run home run. I don't even know it was a mistake. I mean, that ball's on the inner half of the plate. They're almost calling for it on the outer half. A little location mistake there. But if you're going to miss down, that's just a good piece of hitting. Sometimes you got to tip your hat to the pitcher, to the hitter, excuse me.
Victor Martinez, Johnny Peralta, Brandon Inge for the Tigers, top of the 4th. Warm day here in Vieira, wind blowing hard. Just beyond the top of the hour here. Martinez walked first time up, eventually stranded at third back in the 2nd inning. Tigers in a very talented division with Minnesota, the defending division champion. A perennial contender now are the Twins, developing from within. They have former Nat Matt Capps now for a full season. White Sox as talented as ever. Adam Dunn is over there. And Jim Leland told us this morning he's hearing good reports on Cleveland, Manny Acta's team, but also the fact that Kansas City might have as many good young players in their organization as anybody in baseball. Maybe not major league ready, but if the Royals can keep developing the way they have been, look for KC in the next couple of years.
Yeah, they're in 2nd place right now in the Cactus League. A lot of times you'll have an organization with a lot of good young players, and they're the ones that are actually deciding the games in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning in spring training.
Pirates, Marlins, Rockies, and Detroit. Within an eyelash of taking the Pirates to the World Series on a couple of occasions. Most notably the Sid Bream play at home plate. Andy Van Slyke swears to me that he tried to get Barry Bonds to move in 2 steps in left field before that final pitch on the Cabrera base hit that drove in Sid Bream, who could not run a lick.
I couldn't believe how deep Barry Bonds was playing on that play. Every time I see that film, that tape of that play, as an outfielder with the game on the line, you have to put yourself in a position to be able to throw somebody out.
Yeah.
Barry almost playing no doubles at that point, deep in left field.
Those were great battles between the Pirates and the Braves in the early 90s. And a full count with the leadoff man in there, Victor Martinez, top of the 4th. Close, ball 4. Second time, Martinez has been walked.
That was closer than close. That was a strike. Tom Gorzolany showing his frustration to home plate umpire Ed Hickok, turning his back to him after the play. And I don't blame him. That's a good pitch.
It's a lot closer than the pitch that struck out Ankiel. And the top of the 4th is underway with a leadoff walk. And here's Johnny Peralta.
And that's where, as a veteran guy, as a pitcher that's in control of the baseball game, that you can't let that one call affect you. Got to get right back in the strike zone, look for a ground ball, something down in the zone.
Chopper to third, tough play, Hairston, what a pick. A good turn by Cora. A very good 5-4-3 double play. I tell you, that Jerry Hairston glove over third base is magical today.
He's got the short hop backhand down pat. Great job by Gorzolany of getting back in the strike zone after a tough call that didn't go his way. Throwing a ground ball. Alex Cora with a nice job on the pivot. It's a big league double play.
Bases wiped clean with 2 outs now. Nats turn their 23rd twin killing of the spring. And the hitter is Brandon Inge with 2 outs. Singled up the middle his first time.
And see that play right there, Bob, that's what you're getting in a nutshell with your bench this year for the Nationals. You throw in a Hairston and give Zimmerman a day off at third base. You throw in Cora at second base. And that's what you get. You're not losing a whole lot defensively. They're going out there. They're going to make the plays wherever you put them.
And that's a good bench. It's a solid bench the Nationals have this year.
Two. Breaking ball had him reaching. On the charges, Alberto Gonzalez. Nats flashing some defense today. LaRoche is a good one at first base. He'll lead off. Bottom 4. Some action in this one, but the Nats not on the board against Justin Verlander just yet. 2-0 bottom 4. We'll have a great time at the ballpark. Nats Fest 2011, March 30th, starting at 4 p.m. at Nationals Park. You can watch BP step on the field and meet and greet with the players and coaches. Live entertainment, a kids area full of fun and games, a whole lot more. Nationals.com/NatsFest for your ticket information. All the broadcasters will be there. We'll be roaming around the ballpark and visiting with folks. It'll be a great time. We'll also have a little special on Masson that evening. Big breaking ball. And it's a ball and a strike to Adam LaRoche. Struck out swinging first time up. So he throws him another, gets a strike with it.
He's definitely working on his off speed today. A lot of change-ups, a lot of curveballs. His fastball hasn't been the middle 90s fastball that you're used to with him, just 89, 91. But that curveball right there, that's over your head. That's something you really want to offer at until you have to with 2 strikes. As a hitter, you're looking for something straight out over the plate early in the count. Verlander, we talked about the maturation process. He's not a thrower anymore, he's a pitcher.
Evidently not yet loose for the season. That was only 94 on the fastball.
Well, he's thrown against the wind.
2-2 to Adam. And he just blows it by the left-handed batter. Strikeout number 5 for Verlander. He's got Ankiel twice, LaRoche twice.
And that was set up by the off-speed stuff. A lot of curveballs in the mid-80s, and then all of a sudden with 2 strikes you see 95, and LaRoche can't catch up to the heater late in the count.
10 outs total, but one is the pickoff, which doesn't show up there. And Ramos fights one off his hands and flies it to Rayburn. 2 outs. This is the 9th year that this organization has played at Space Coast Stadium, going back to the days of the Expos. It has a capacity of 7,200. Not many empty seats today. Great crowd on hand. Tigers always a popular spring training draw against the Nats. Bob FP and Debbie are here with you on Masson HD. And on the Don Kelly homer, the Tigers lead 2-0. Roger Bernardino, the hitter now. Bases empty, 2 outs, bottom 4. Right off the end of the bat, and that will drop. Bernardino takes a big round to the bag. He will cruise into second, and the ball is waiting when he gets there. On a good play by Rayburn. Dan Radisson and Bernardino took a shot with 2 outs, and Rayburn threw him out. Into the 5th inning now, it's still 2-0.
Go to the top of the 5th. Tigers 2, Nationals 0. Let's check out Roger Bernardino's play to end the 4th inning. Just a 2-seam fastball away off the end of the bat. Drops into left field. And with 2 outs, you got to take chances. You got to try to get yourself in scoring position. Rayburn was just a great play right there, but Jim Riggleman will have no problem with Roger Bernardino trying to stretch that into a double. We talked earlier in the broadcast about being aggressive on the base pass. Well, that's part of it. Sometimes you're going to make it, sometimes you're not. As long as you're busting it out of the box right when you make contact and you're not standing around watching the play and you're hustling as soon as you hit the ball, no manager in the world will have any problem with you making the 3rd out at second base trying to stretch a single into a double.
Good arm in left field. Rayburn rung up 4 runners last year, and he gets Bernardino, one of the fastest guys in baseball. Top of the 5th, Alex Sevilla, Ramon Santiago, and Casper Wells for the Tigers. On his hands and into the gap, Jason Worth, no problem. I talked to Bo Porter, who had nothing to do with that last play. He's the Nationals' 3rd base coach. And, of course, we know Bo from his years with Florida. But he told me that this is going to be an aggressive team. They like the speed they have on this ball club. And he says, of course, for any base coach, 1st or 3rd, that the situation always dictates what you do. But he said, by nature, I'm an aggressive guy. So I think we'll see maybe a few more runners sent around 3rd heading for home this year than we have the last couple of years.
Well, you can be an aggressive guy as a 3rd base coach as long as the runner comes hard to you. You don't want the runner pulling up before you have to make your decision as a 3rd base coach. A lot of times runners will come around second base and they'll start to throttle down as they get to 3rd, and they don't give you the opportunity to send them. So as long as guys are coming hard to Bo Porter at 3rd base, it'll give him the opportunity to be aggressive.
There's a fastball that rides high to the outside corner. And the count's 2 balls, 1 strike. Every pitcher, of course, has a little bit of a different way he delivers. Gorzelani sets up right in the middle of the pitching rubber, and FB, he's just got enough of that herky-jerky to throw off the hitter just a bit.
You see, he takes the ball out of his glove and goes straight down to the ground. The challenge for him is to get it back up to the release point quick enough to where everything's on time. Talking to Steve McCaddy today, the big challenge for Gorzelani is when he takes that ball out of his glove and he puts it straight toward the ground. Now he's got to get his elbow up and get on top of the baseball to keep it down in the strike zone to get that tilt on his off-speed stuff.
He's had a decent day. Just the one pitch down and into Kelly that Don Kelly rode out of here. Ramos wants the pitch up, but it was out over the plate. And ridden into center field by Santiago. The Tigers have their 4th hit. Ramos wanted that pitch up and in. It was up and out over the plate. And it's 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the 5th.
You see the line of Gorzelani right now. You know, as a starting pitcher, especially with the Nat staff, you talk about quality starts. I don't even know what that stat means. A quality start to me is a guy that keeps his team in the game. I mean, so many times in the course of a 162-game schedule, you're going to have a pitcher go out there and, you know, have a 5-run first or a 6-run second. Now, you know, you're out of that baseball game. For me, a quality start is a guy that goes out there, throws however many innings, but keeps your team in the baseball game. You know, he gives up 4 or 5 runs, but we scored 4 or 5 runs. Then all of a sudden, you've kept the team in the game, and that's a quality start. I know there's quality start stats and 6 innings, whatever runs scored through. I don't pay any attention to that. Do you, on your 5th day, give the team a chance to win the baseball game and you take them out?
75, 80 pitches or so, is that about the range for this point of spring training? Because he's over 75 now.
Yeah, Marquis threw 75 his last outing, so yeah, that's right where they're at, trying to build up to the 100-pitch count, the magical 100-pitch count to start the season.
2-0. Leadoff man Casper Wells, 0 for 2. Fly ball to left. And a great play by Hairston at third base, his 2nd time up. 3-0. Ryan Rayburn, 1 for 2. And just threw out a runner from the outfield. Not a whole lot of body behind that throw. That was all arm on the quick release.
Little step-off snap throw. Terry Mulholland used to have a nasty one of those. He'd throw it about 95 to first base, pick a lot of guys off. You just want to make sure that nobody's going first move on a 3-0 count.
High in the zone for a strike. Spring training. Good pitch. Yeah, right on the ceiling of the strike zone.
See me stand up right there? I had you. I will get all foul balls.
You have been very protective since I almost lost my life last week.
That's because I don't want to do play-by-play.
Three and 2 with 1 out. We'll see if Jim Leland starts his runner. He does not. Gorzelani thinks he's going to send the runner down.
Interesting thing, you'll see catchers on 3 and 2 or pitches that they know their pitcher's going to throw over to first base, set up in a spot opposite where they're going to set up on the pitch. Wilson Ramos right there set up inside on Wells. We'll see where they go. 3-2.
He's holding, and the ball's popped up right side. Adam LaRoche, it'll be a foul ball by the time he catches it. 2 outs. I'm going to tell you about the Harris Teeter Family Fun Pack, our favorite grocery store in the Washington area. Expect great things with the Harris Teeter Family Fun Pack. Tickets starting at $14, including a ticket, hot dog, chips, and a Coke. Go to nationals.com/family for tickets. Some restrictions do apply, and that's for weekend games at home this year, not just Sundays anymore. By the way, there's great fear among some of the Harris Teeter folks in the Washington area. They have a sushi bar in their stores, and they're really concerned about Santangelo's first visit. They may be cleaned out in a hurry.
All right. He's wearing that sushi bar out. We don't have stores in California that you walk into the store and there's a sushi chef sitting right there making you fresh rolls. Went all over that.
Do we have Arlington rolls? They have California rolls. On a pitch to Rayburn, popped a mile-high third base side. Hairston settles under it. He will lead off in the bottom of the 5th inning. 5 solid innings for Tom Gorzolani, and the Nats are down by a couple. On to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Nats are down by a couple. Hairston, Cora, and Gonzalez. 3 guys who can really flash some defense, and they've all been involved with Jerry at third base in some of the great plays we've seen today.
Yeah, 2 sides to the game, lumber and leather. The Nats definitely brought the leather today. Jerry Hairston Jr. at third base making some nifty plays. Diving play right there, getting to his feet, making a throw right on the money to Adam LaRoche. And then another short hop starting at 5-4-3 double play. So as you would expect off Justin Verlander, not a lot of offense from the Nats, but they definitely brought their gloves. If you ain't hitting, if I ain't hitting, you ain't hitting.
Verlander out for his 5th inning of work. No runs on 5 hits. 4 of them singles. Striking out 5. Hasn't walked a batter. Pretty good efficient use of 53 pitches through 4 innings. A lot of times power pitchers will throw a lot of pitches per innings. Here's Todd Coffey, who will be screaming onto the field 3 outs from now. He comes flying out of that bullpen. So it appears Gorzolani's done for the day. 2 runs on 4 hits, a couple of walks. Struck out 3, not a great, but a solid outing. Hairston flied to left his first time.
I'd say very solid in the sense that, you know, you gave up 1 wind-blown home run.
Yeah, and the hit right before that was a flare to left. Gave up a single to center by Brandon Inge, so they really didn't hit him hard except for the 1 swing. And it was a wind-aided home run. Alex Cora, red hot, batting well over .420 now, is next. By the way, Hairston, a .257 career hitter, 12 years with Baltimore, the Cubs, Rangers, Reds, Yankees, Padres. 244 for San Diego with 50 RBIs, though, in a part-time role, 119 games last year. But he also had 13 doubles, 2 triples, and stole 9 bases. He got jammed out into center for Wells. And that's the first out, bottom 5.
Now batting second is number 13, Alex Cora.
Alex Cora, a 244 career hitter. Like Hairston, 12 years. 7 with the Dodgers, short time in Cleveland, 3.5 years in Boston, 2 years in New York with the Mets, and then a little bit of time with Texas last year. Breaking ball up and away.
And Alex, a former teammate of mine in Los Angeles in 2000, and just a guy that's a consummate professional. He comes to the ballpark every day, works as hard as anybody I've ever been around, always upbeat. You never know if he's 0 for 4, 4 for 4, what his batting average is. Same guy in the clubhouse every single day. That's why he's played for so long.
And he has a great deal of admiration for his brother Joey. We talked about it this morning. He thinks Joey will be a very good major league manager. And I'm sure he's getting a good lesson in Chicago of some things to do and some things not to do, working for Ozzie Guillen. That's got to be a day-to-day interesting situation. Good play by Brandon Inge over at third base for the second out. He got rid of that ball in a hurry and enabled Miguel Cabrera to get a good look at it.
And sometimes those squibbers can be a little bit tricky. Fastball inside, Alex Cora just taps it over to third base, and the best thing that Inge did was just get rid of the ball fast, get into the backhand side, getting the ball in the air for you kids at home. You know, a lot of times you'll see guys at lower levels hang on to the ball too long and try to throw it as hard as you can across the diamond. Getting rid of the ball quickly is far more important than throwing it hard to first base.
There's Alberto Gonzalez, who singled up the middle his first time. Alberto now hitting in the 270 range down here. .253 his career big league average. In parts of 5 years with the Yankees and the Nationals, has now established himself as a very, very good extra man. Lays off the breaking ball, and it's 2-1.
Well, this is, if you're Gonzalez, you're sitting dead red, fastball all the way. This is my pitch. I've worked hard to get the count to 2-1 in my favor against one of the better pitchers in baseball. Look for a fastball out over the plate and let it rip.
And he goes to right field. Well done. Pretty good day in the number 9 hole for Alberto.
Not trying to do too much. You know you're heading the count. Fastball down and away. Taking what he gives you. Foot down early. Great piece of hitting right there.
Batting .295 now. He's aboard with 2 outs for Niger Morgan. Niger with a base hit over third base last time. A little flare to left that sent Gonzalez to third. But then Verlander buckled down and struck out Ankiel, flied out Worth, and the Tigers were out of the inning.
Now you're saying that ball was over my head.
We've seen a little inconsistency with the balls and strikes today.
You can't have the high one and that one too. Well, if you're Niger Morgan right here, you're just thinking about getting on base. You're down by 2 runs right now. Rick Ankiel on deck. He's got a lot of pop. He put on a laser show display in BP today. Now, this is how you have to think in the 5th inning of a Major League Baseball game. What can I do to get on base to set the table for the guy behind me? You know, one swing of the bat, you have the lead. Yeah, we talked about it earlier, Justin Verlander's feet. A lot of times with a pickoff throw, it's all made with your feet. Some of the quickest feet in baseball. Then on top of that, he's got the short arm delivery. He throws about 94 to first base, too. Make it one of the better moves from a right-hander.
He's had quite a hammer with that breaking ball today, and it has not been exclusively for right-handed hitters either. What a weapon against the lefties.
And it has not been hittable.
Wow.
That's just ridiculous.
I mean, when that thing leaves his hand, your mind's telling you that's up and away. It's not a strike. 1-2 now. Niger has to protect. That's nasty. Breaking ball down and in. Nationals are gone in the 5th inning. Verlander, 6 strikeouts. Morgan twice. Ainkiel twice. LaRoche twice. Guess what? They're all lefties. We have a great lineup for you from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday this year. We call it the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report right here on Masson. 90 minutes of news and information about the Nats, the rest of the league. Live look-ins at batting practice, reports from the field, roundtable discussions, and a great panel of baseball writers and observers like Tom Davis, Phil Wood, Dave Johnson, Mel Antonin. They'll discuss the hottest topics in sports and give you maximum access, which we've been doing for years, right here on Masson to your favorite teams. It'll be awesome. Here comes Todd Coffey. Nobody makes an entrance like this.
And check out right when he gets to the infield grass.
Downshift.
Flaps down, gear down.
Hey, whatever it takes to get loose, right?
Well, you know, he's got to slow down, because if he didn't, he would have went past the mound maybe into foul territory on the third base side. But I love that.
Yeah, we first saw him with that in Cincinnati. I'll tell you what, it's a long way in from our bullpen in right field. Here's Don Kelly leading off. His swing, the difference in the ball game. A 2-run homer against Tom Gorzolany back in the 3rd. Little chopper third base, way is wide. And the count quickly 0-2.
So as an analyst now, when Todd Coffey comes in at home this year, I have to break it down to where, you know, Bob, that might have affected him running in from the bullpen all the way. You know, I think it's affected his outing today.
I don't think so.
He looks like he's spent before the first pitch. I love that, though. He's telling everybody, I'm ready to play today. Excited.
But if you've seen Todd Coffey pitch and spend any time around him, you know he is what do you call him, adrenaline junkies, one of those kind of guys. He may need that just to gear himself down a little bit.
Yeah, and these guys, they're all adrenaline junkies. Anybody that's a relief pitcher at the major league level.
Breaking ball down and in, hit hard to right and over to cover it. Jason Worth, who probably doesn't get enough credit for being a good outfielder. And you folks who've been down here to Florida know, in this ballpark, that is a danger zone with this wind.
Yeah, so is down and in to Don Kelly a danger zone. But Jason Worth, a nice play with the wind-blown line drive. See him make the little adjustment right there and give on the baseball at the very end.
What do you mean by that?
giving on the baseball. He was cruising along to where he thought it was going to go, and then all of a sudden the wind catches it. So now you just give a little bit at the end. You take that step more in a direct line toward the warning track and the fence to give yourself a little space.
So if you cruise toward the ball, it might be beyond your reach by the time you get there.
Yeah, you never want to cruise on a baseball, but you think you have a beat on it. And I'll tell you what, playing outfield in spring training, especially here in Florida with the sun and the wind and the low stadiums, it's some of the hardest places you'll ever play outfield. And what I mean by the low stadiums, in a major league stadium, you have the second and third deck. You have a backdrop for the baseball at all times. Here, it gets up out of the stadium and blends right in with the clouds early. You got the wind blowing, the sun. I couldn't wait to get to night games to where you could actually see the baseball. And the lights take over the game, and you get in a rhythm where you're playing at 7 o'clock every night.
1-1 to Cabrera, who's 0 for 2. Miguel has struck out, swinging and lined out to center. Top of the 6th, 2-0 Tigers. Detroit has the second best record down here, 16-9. Phillies are 15-8. Braves are 13-8. Those are the top 3. The world champion Giants are just getting into a winning habit out there in the Cactus League at 18-6. And as FP mentioned earlier, the Royals are second best in Arizona at 14-7. Two-two. We have heard through the grapevine over the weeks down here that Bud Selig really doesn't want any more teams leaving Florida and going to Arizona. That does not mean there won't be some movement within the Sunshine State in the next couple of years, and the Nationals are rumored to be one of those teams. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Coffee with a late breaker, and he strikes out Cabrera, 2 down. 4th strikeout by Nationals pitching today.
I played with a guy named John Johnstone in San Francisco in 1999, and he made a living off that pitch right there. The 3-2 slider that doesn't really slide. A lot of times you'll refer to it as a cement mixer because it looks like a cement mixer coming in there. You see the greatest hitters go up there and swing right through it. Miguel Cabrera did just that. You go to swing where it's going to be. It doesn't end up there. It kind of backs up a little bit. It's a very effective pitch.
Now, I have not heard the cement mixer theory before. That's interesting.
Just spins in there like a cement mixer when you're driving down the freeway and you're following a big old cement mixer just spinning. Sometimes it's the best pitch in baseball. You just throw it right down the middle and let it not work. It just spins in there. Your brain tells you it's a slider. You fire your hands to where you think it's going to be, and it never goes there.
Victor Martinez, 3rd time up for the switch hitter. Batting right-handed, walked a couple of times against Gorzalani. High gas, 0-2.
It's a good 0-2 pitch right there, changing the eye line, going up in the strike zone, setting up something maybe in right here, even that slider down in the strike zone. Having a purpose with an 0-2 pitch, setting up the next pitch. That's a veteran on the mound.
Got him with a fastball upstairs. Good inning for Coffee with some pretty good hitters coming up. First he gets the line drive, strikes out Cabrera, and then goes hard to Martinez. 1-2-3. the 6th inning, Justin Verlander still pitching for the Tigers. We can tell you that single game tickets are on sale now for action at Nationals Park this year, starting as low as $10. Go to nationals.com/tickets. Check out all the different ticket deals. We've got the Power Pack for you, the Harris Teeter Family Fun Pack, and single game tickets all on sale. Come and join us at the ballpark, and when you can't be there, FP, Debbie, and I will have it all for you right here on Masson HD. Rick Ankiel, bottom 6. All right, let's go guessing on the first pitch.
Swing.
FP thought first pitch fastball looked like he turned one over on him there.
So did Rick Ankiel.
So you're in the hole 0-1 too.
We both had the same game plan. Get that first fastball and seal the deal. Get the job done.
This guy is something. He's got Rick swinging at everything right now. He dropped the hammer on him in the first inning on a similar situation like this. A big curveball.
He's got the fastball set up too right now.
He changed up on it.
Tripled up on the combos and the changeup. Yeah, I don't know what to think if I'm Rick Ankiel right now. I guess you just got to respect the fastball, spread out in battle, and try to throw it out there somewhere.
See ball, hit ball. And he does. In the air to center. Wynn playing with it. And getting there finally is Casper Wells. Infielders cannot assume that that's a can of corn for the outfield there. Nationals have had at least one hit in every inning since the second. But the only extra base hit, Ramos one out double back in the second, all singles since then. Next up, Jason Worth, who's hit the ball in the air twice. Once to right, once to left. I can't wait till the first time the Nats go to Philadelphia to see what the reaction will be on his first AB.
I would imagine a standing ovation.
I'll say half standing, half throwing things.
Half booing.
It's just a guess on my part.
A standing booing ovation.
One ball and 2 strikes. And a chopper, third base way. Count remains 1-2. Kind of spring of the Phillies having? Well, they're 15-8 as we mentioned. Best record on a percentage basis in Florida. You know, but talking about the Nationals and a possible move toward the center part of the state, that would leave only the Mets in Port St. Lucie, and then the Cardinals and the Marlins, who share Jupiter on the East Coast, a part of Florida that used to have numerous teams. Brandon Inge with a long throw. Well done. On target to Don Kelly, who's now playing first base. So we'll try to set the defense for you when we can. Kelly was in right field. Not as many substitutions as we had in our early telecasts. And in right field is Cleet Thomas.
That might be one of the best baseball names ever. Just for the record, yes.
I remember Cleet Boyer, Kenny Boyer's brother. Great player for the Yankees. Adam LaRoche 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And he takes one outside, quickly 3-0.
Let's see if he's swinging right here. Gets a green light from Jim Rigney.
4-pitch walk. Nats have a runner with 2 outs here in the 6th. Verlander's first walk. Bringing up the only National who has an extra base hit today, and that's Wilson Ramos with a double to left center back in the second. And quickly 0-2 to Ramos. Ramos having a pretty good spring, 9 for 32. Batting .281, Roger Bernardina after him. Nats are down by 2, bottom of the 6th. They've out-hit the Tigers 6-4. Tough to lay off that one up around his eyes, and he can't get it. Verlander with 7 strikeouts, and that's it for him today. 6 really good innings.
Go to the top of the 7th, 2-0 Tigers. Let's check out a little Todd coffee package here. Coffee filter maybe coming in from the bullpen. Full speed ahead. A little cement mixer there to strike out Cabrera and feature the good high fastball to get Martinez. Todd Coffee with a good first inning for the Nationals.
He'll get another. Peralta, Inge, and Avila for the Tigers schedule, top 7. Career that started in the big leagues with the Reds in 05. Milwaukee, 9 games in 08. And then for the Brewers, 147 games the last 2 years. He's been quite busy. 78 and then 69. Through 84 innings in 2009. That's a lot of innings for a reliever. Johnny Peralta, 0 for 2 strikeout and a 5-4-3 double play ball. A heartbreaking ball, low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. 7th inning underway. A breezy day, 75 degrees at game time here in Vieira. What was it, 77 in D.C. just a couple days ago?
Flip-flops and shorts.
Nice.
Beautiful. And it stayed warm all night, too. Was walking around town, T-shirts, shorts. First nice day since I've been there.
Brandon Inge is next. There's that breaking ball that he hacks foul. We are scheduled to see Drew Storen today. Possibly Craig Stammen, Tyler Clippard. On a fastball up. Peralta late for it. And the breeze will take care of the rest. Nice crowd here today. Let's have a look at our eharmony.com game flow. eHarmony. Love begins here. And of course, we love the intimacy of spring training. The fans are right on top of things. A chance to have more access to the players. Left side, it's Hairston again. How many does he have for us today? That was the easiest of the three. And Jerry Hairston's just been fantastic today.
Yeah, Jerry Hairston 0 for 2 at the plate, but he's definitely contributing on defense. I had about 4 stars in my scorebook. Add another one to it. Jerry Hairston throwing some serious leather at third base. And he knows, veteran guy, balls hit hard. I got time to get up, get my feet underneath me, know the runner, and make a good throw.
He'll be 35 on May 29th. Great baseball family. Uncle Johnny, brother Scott played in the big leagues. Dad Jerry, grandfather Sam. By the way, Jerry, when he came to the big leagues, was the first third-generation major leaguer to make it. And of course, then we had the Boones who came along. Mr. Bob Boone, certainly a very important part of this organization. Born in Des Moines, signed by the Nats as a free agent, January 19th. Fastball rides up. Inge made an offer but held off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's a good uniform right there. Check out the dirt all over the front side.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, utility guys having a good game. Got to be dirty.
Out to short. It's Alberto Gonzalez's turn. Right on target, 2 outs. I've had a couple of pitchers make comments to me when I said, hey, have you met my new analyst? They said, yeah, FP Santangelo. Pain in the, you can fill in the blank, because guys like that drive pitchers crazy. I know Ron Vallone told me that last week, and others.
Yeah, that's the best compliment you can get as a former player.
Well, and we ran into a long-time, wonderful baseball executive today, Joe McDonald. Lots of years with the Mets, the Cardinals, the Tigers, and other organizations. He with the Red Sox now. As soon as he met you, he said, I remember you. You played hard. Yeah, it's great that people remember that about you.
Well, you just want to be remembered, period, when you play this game. So for somebody to come up to you and say that, it was a tremendous compliment. You want to be remembered for the way you played. I think, guys like Jerry Hairston and Alex Cora and Matt Stairs, Jason Worth, a lot of these guys for the Nationals are going to be remembered that way. They played the game the right way, play the game hard every single day, and do something to help their team win a baseball game.
Well, I remember being shocked several years ago when I ran into Royce Clayton. He was with the Rockies at the time, and we got to talking about a few things. He just made a statement that startled me. He said, Bob, when we get drugs out of this game, guys like me will become important again. And there was a time when we just totally forgot about the guys who play small ball and who go out there every day and do those little things you need to win. Those things never really went away, but they were forgotten because of all the balls flying out of ballparks.
They were a little less important all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And now the game has gotten back to pitching and defense. And, last year was obviously the year of the pitcher. The Giants proved that. And I like the way the game is evolving back to baseball. Hitting and running, bunting, stressing base running, making the plays on defense.
Look at that approach. Alex Sevilla golfing one to left center. That's the first hit the Tigers have had since the 5th inning, and only their second hit since the Kelly home run back in the 3rd. He's aboard with 2 outs for Ramon Santiago. Adam LaRoche just walked over and whispered something to Coffey. Making you wonder what a first baseman would say to a pitcher with 2 outs and a runner at first.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that myself. I got nothing for you.
I think he told him, I'm going to hold him, and then I'm going to go play behind the runner. So sometimes you geniuses who sit at the ballpark with us and try to figure out what you're watching out there, sometimes if you wait for one pitch, it'll tell you exactly what LaRoche just said. So he's going to hold the runner, and then as soon as the pitch is made, because it's a left-handed batter, he's going to come about 10 feet off the bag. Ramos can't find the ball. It was near the foot of the umpire, Ed Hickox, and by the time he found it, Alex Sevilla was gone, and now LaRoche will just go ahead and play deep.
That's a good idea by LaRoche, getting some range with a left-handed hitter right there.
That's got to be a pass ball right there.
See LaRoche getting behind Avila. I was going through my computer checking stats, seeing if Avila was like a base stealer, a catcher that stole a lot of bases. Like, hey, pay attention to this guy.
Yeah.
They obviously wanted to get some range there and play behind him with 2 outs.
That coach I just saw in that shot over there, Tom Brookins, he was another Santangelo, Cora, Hairston kind of player too. Had some good years with the Tigers. First base coach now for many years. Four-pitch walk. Two on, 2 out. Top of the order, Casper Wells coming up.
Jerry Hairston Jr. going to the mound right now. He's telling Todd Coffey, make him hit it to me, because I'm making all the plays today.
I'm doing it all. What do I have to do to convince you? Steve McCaddy to the mound. Todd Coffey may be at his pitch limit for a couple of innings here too. There's always the possibility of a rare during the inning pitching change, although it doesn't happen down here very often. It's usually between innings. And Drew Storn is ready when the Nats need him. And I'm sure Drew is looking forward, FP, to doing something about that 12.79 ERA. 14 hits and 6 in the 3rd innings.
Yeah, he's not real concerned about it. I talked to him today in the clubhouse before the game, and he's been working on things. One day he's going out and working on command. The next day they want him to throw more fastballs. The next day he's working on his slider. I think there's been a lot of concern with fans and ourselves about the numbers in spring training. With Storn, he's having a little bit of a tough time throwing strike one. Once he gets that down and once he gets that adrenaline, that rush of pitching in a game that means something, I think you're going to see a different pitcher out there.
First pitch breaking ball, front door for a strike. And often when a guy's having control problems, not that walking one guy is a problem, but sometimes the pitcher will throw that first pitch breaking ball to get the feel back on the baseball and stay within his mechanics. Avila at second, Santiago at first. Then he goes fastball, snap throw, horrible throw by Ramos, and LaRoche has no chance to block it, and the runner will score all the way from second base. Now the throw gets away from the third baseman into the dugout, and they're going to send the runner home. Alex Cora didn't need to throw that ball because the runner had stopped at second, and a little league play gives up 2 runs right here. There will be an error on Ramos and 1 on Cora.
That's not one you're going to put on the highlight reel for the 2011 season, I'll tell you that right now. A good idea by Ramos to try to bail Coffey out of a tough situation, but you got to execute it. The ball goes down the right field line. Alex Cora gets the relay, doesn't know the runner is held up at second base, throws it anyways. And Jerry Hairston Jr., who's caught everything all day, lets it get by him. Not a good play.
Well, that'll make one of the runs earned right there with a base hit by Wells. Crazy play. So they'll give an error to Ramos and 1 to Cora. Ramos' first error of the spring, Cora's second, and the Nationals have made 3 errors today. Adam LaRoche had no chance to block that throw. Probably hit 30 feet in front of him.
In foul territory.
Yeah. Runner at first and 2 outs for Ryan Rayburn. Fastball in there. It's 3 o'clock in our nation's capital and in beautiful Viera, Florida. Space Coast Stadium. Tigers have picked up a couple of gift runs here in the 7th inning and lead the Nats 4-0. Runner going. Ramos' throw is off to the shortstop side, and Casper Wells swipes second base.
Great jump by Wells right here, and a pretty good throw by Wilson Ramos. Got a tough pitch to handle down and inside to a right-hander. There's a little interference right there, but comes up firing to second base.
Yeah, and anywhere near the bag on that throw, runner's out.
Ball beat him just to the wrong side of the bag. Pretty good throw.
2 on the count now. Breaking ball that Ramos blocks.
And that's one of the toughest pitches for a catcher to handle, down and into a righty. Now you got all kinds of interference with the hitter. Ideally, you'd like a clear lane on a ball, maybe up and away. Good job, good footwork, good throw.
Another walk. Now Jim Riggleman will have to go get Todd Coffey. Gave up a 2-out hit, then walked a batter. Then the defense betrayed him. And Drew Storen, and maybe this is good for Drew. If you can't get amped up about 2 on, 2 out, maybe that's better for Storen right now than starting an inning. So Coffey is out after an inning and 2/3. Drew Storen on the way. 2 on, 2 out, top of the 7th. Drew Storen coming in. Our copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Drew Storen, so far a rough spring. 6 games, 6 innings, 14 hits. 10 runs, 9 of them earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. So that part of it's okay, the strikeout to walk ratio. But he's been more hittable than we expected. And the hitter is Don Kelly, who homered here once and almost did it again. I would advise not throwing the ball down and into this guy.
No, for Storen, the problem so far has been strike 1, fastball up and away right there. And you talked about pitching in games that count and games that mattered. Closer types are adrenaline junkies. He's got a good situation right now to work out of.
And a line drive caught on the fly by Gonzalez, inning over. Maybe Storen comes back out for the 8th. Tigers get 2 runs, 1 unearned, and lead by 4. a bottom of the 7th inning coming up. 7th inning stretch time. And here's our game summary. Justin Verlander, outstanding. Shutting out the Nats on 6 hits, 7 strikeouts. He walked 1 batter, Adam LaRoche, in the 6th. Other than that, just about unhittable. He's gotten some support with Don Kelly's homer back in the 3rd. And as we mentioned earlier, not a bad day for Tom Borzolani.
Let's go with one word here. Dirty. Rotten. Filthy. And just plain unhittable all day long. You got the changeup working, the nasty 12-6 curveball, the two-seam fastball, 89 to 90 for the get-over strike early in the count, the 95-mile-an-hour fastball to put you away late in the count. Just a great outing for him to build on. We talked about early in the game about he's treating these games like the regular season. Well, that would be a fantastic regular season outing. 23-year-old
Ryan Perry for the Tigers. 60 games last year, a 3.5 ERA out of the bullpen. Oklahoma kid from, California kid from Pomona. I was looking at Brad Penny right above him on the roster. They have added Brad Penny to their roster of pitchers this year. They, of course, have Max Scherzer, Verlander, who we saw today, Rick Porcello. Bernardino lays down a hard bunt, maybe too hard, and played pretty well over there at third base by Danny Worth, who just came in.
And Bernardino pulling up past the first baseline right there. That's not a good sign. I like the idea of trying to start something up with a base hit bunt. Just got a little too much on it. Let's check him out going down the line. Hoping that's just a cramp.
Jerry Hairston Jr. now 0 for 2. Fly ball to left, fly ball to center. Brilliant day in the field.
I like the idea by Bernardino right there to get something going, but if I just face Justin Verlander for 6 innings, anybody else out there is a good thing.
Maybe
for the
see
Washington
a pitcher
Nationals. Well, anybody but Verlander's out there. Now it's time to hit. He did his thing. He threw all his changeups and curveballs and fastballs and struck everybody out. Now I got somebody else out there. Anybody else is going to look a lot more hittable than Verlander.
Goes down to get the breaking ball and hugs the ground to Peralta. And 2 quick outs for Perry here in the 7th. That'll bring up Matt Stairs, who will bat for Alex Cora. Interesting question about this player, FP, as we approach the end of spring training. There are clubs around baseball who can certainly carry a guy who's a one-dimensional player off the bench, basically a hitter who doesn't play defense for you. Are the Nationals the kind of a team that can have a Matt Stairs, maybe at the cost of some defense?
I think any team in baseball could have a Matt Stairs. It's just a question is there enough room on the roster for him right now? He's the quick strike offense guy. In case of emergency, use Stairs in the 8th or 9th inning. Be valuable to anybody.
He goes up and hacks one. See you later. Way out of here. All right, my question just got answered.
He's on the team. It's official.
Nationals are on the board. He went upstairs and just hacked one out of here. Matt Stairs' first home run this spring. Maybe he couldn't have timed it any better.
Yeah, for us and the Nationals, Matt Stairs doing what he does best. Funny, I was talking to him around the cage today. He said, FP, I'm having trouble getting the ball in the air. My swing feels real good right now. I'm barreling up a lot of things, but I'm having trouble getting the ball up in the air. Matt Stairs has hit enough of those to know he got it. Let me check that one out for a minute. See where it lands.
Rattling around on the roof of the batting cages out there. And here's Alberto Gonzalez, who's already 2 for 2 today. Nationals have hit their 24th home run of the spring. So even though Worth and LaRoche, neither of them have a home run, the Nats are still hitting more than 1 home run a game down here. Hard front door slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We didn't have a whole lot of time to talk about Stairs, but you're not just playing for the Nationals when you go out here every day. There's scouts in the stands. Everybody's looking at you. So Yeah, whether he makes this team or not, I don't know, but he'll have a job somewhere in baseball.
Bouncer up the middle, and Gonzalez is 3 for 3.
And Gonzalez having a great day at the plate. He handled Verlander, was the only one pretty much to handle Justin Verlander. And then keeping it simple, ground ball up the middle, 3 for 3.
Henry is now batting .311. Top of the order, Niger Morgan.
The same situation for Morgan as last time. Down by 3 runs. You got to think about getting a tying run to the plate any way you can late in the baseball game.
Hey, this kid's got an arm. Ryan Perry, 6'4", 200, only 20. Actually, he's now 24. Just had a birthday in February. Niger trying to slap one the other way. He's 1 for 3 today. But the 2 outs, no contact. 2 strikeouts and a single. Down here, Niger has struck out 7 times, walked 5. There's a guy who can get a fly ball in the air if Morgan can somehow extend this inning. Oh-2 pitch, low and away.
A hitter like Niger Morgan's got to be a tough out. You know, whether you hit 250, 300, or somewhere in between, you have to be a tough out. What do I mean by that? You get in these situations with 2 strike, prolong the at-bat, be a pain in the butt up there, foul balls off, try to get on first base any way you can, get hit by a pitch, whatever it takes to get that tying run to the plate.
How about bumping one through the shortstop hole? Picked up by Peralta, no play anywhere. The Nats have the tying run suddenly in the batter's box with Rick Ankiel, and Niger Morgan is 2 for 4.
Exactly what I'm talking about, being the tough out up there, not giving in, not striking out, prolonging the at-bat, and then just staying inside a pitch and hitting the 14 hopper in the 6 hole and getting on base and getting Rick Ankiel up to the plate. It's a great at-bat, great job at 2-strike hitting. Now if you're Rick Ankiel, you're looking to lift and separate just like Matt Stairs did. Tie this game up with 1 swing.
That was Ramon Santiago, who'd moved over from second base. Will Rhymes is at second. So Peralta out of the game. So Ankiel represents the tying run.
And is really excited that Justin Verlander's not in there anymore.
As they all are. Rick Ankiel, 2 strikeouts and a fly ball to center against Verlander. He's hit 3 home runs. Good speed on the bases. Gonzalez and Morgan. Those 2 runs the Nats gave away in the 7th inning, looking huge now. And Ankiel on a breaking ball will bounce it to the right side. First baseman to the pitcher, inning over. Nats get a homer from Matt Stairs, his first of the spring on a high fastball, a no-doubter, and on to the 8th inning with the Tigers now ahead 4-1. FP and I made a visit to the team store this morning. We saw the Bryce Harper number 34 jerseys. A lot of Nats great stuff available down here in Viera. Viera, top of the 8th inning coming up. Tigers on top, 4-1. Our next television game, right back here Friday night, 6 Eastern. A former Cardinal. Looks like an important part of this ball club. There's Mr. Pujols. Rick Canfield and company taking on St. Louis. Hope you can join us 6 o'clock on Friday evening. Drew Storen got a big out, and now he'll come out and pitch the 8th inning. And FP, as you and I were talking during the break, right as Drew came into the game, maybe that situation with 2 on, 2 out gets him amped up a little bit, and that's more of a simulation of what he'll be faced with during the season, rather than starting in just to, or coming in just to start an inning.
Well, either way, he's got to figure it out. You talk about, if he's doing what he's doing in spring training in April and May, then you start to worry. But there's a certain responsibility that comes into saving a game for 24 other guys, a game that counts. And we've talked about it a lot today, games that count. Not making excuses for Drew. He'd be the first one to tell you that spring probably hasn't gone like he wanted it to. But when you come into a baseball game and you're a closer, a setup guy, and you have that responsibility to save a game for maybe your starting pitcher and get him a win, get your team a win, there's a different sort of adrenaline that goes along with that. And I just don't think you can replicate that in spring training. A lot of these guys, that had bad springs last year. You talk about Storm, Clippard, Burnett, guys that had bad springs last year had great seasons for the Nationals. So I'm not getting all caught up in what Drew Storen's numbers are down here. This is a guy that I think is going to get the job done for the Nationals once the bell rings. And he told me today he's going to treat today's game like it's a regular season game. So let's see how it goes.
Tigers lead off top of the 8th inning with Cleet Thomas, who's now the right fielder. And Drew Storen ready for his first delivery. Good riding fastball for a strike, and Debbie with today's Nationals starter.
Thank you very much, Bob. And Tom Gorzolani fighting for that 5th starter role here with the Nationals. Tom, tell us how you felt out there today.
I felt good today, and I felt, I did a pretty good job, and everything was feeling pretty good out there, and I was able to get some good work in.
For the fans that don't know you, how would you describe yourself as a player and as a pitcher?
I guess the one thing is when I'm on the mound, I'm pretty aggressive, and I like to challenge hitters and attack guys. I'm not really a guy that likes to nitpick out there and try to make pitches. I just try to get after guys and try to let myself do what it does and try to win a game.
When you were with the Cubs, Tom, you did well against the National League East teams. And just tell us a little bit about the opportunity here with the Nationals.
That's great. I think coming over here, they showed how much they really wanted me here, and that was very refreshing. And coming over this team, even before I came over here with some of the moves they made, you just had to think of this team as a team that's definitely on the rise and making some good decisions. And getting to come over here and be a part of this, I think it's going to be some really good things happening here, and it'll be good to be a part of it.
Okay, thank you so much, Tom. We look forward to seeing you in D.C. Bob, FP, back to you.
All right, Debbie, good outing by Tom Gorzolani today. 5 innings, 4 hits, couple of runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Threw a double play ball. Victor Martinez, the DH, has his 4th at bat here, a couple of walks and a strikeout. The Nats have some defensive changes we'll tell you about shortly. Left side, Danny Espinosa is over there. That ball takes off on him, and he drops it. The breeze moved that ball probably 15 to 20 feet to his left, and the Nationals will be given their 4th error of the day.
It's funny how when you get into a baseball game, the ball always finds you. Danny Espinosa comes into the game at shortstop, and all of a sudden, the wind takes the ball all the way on the other side of second base. Just not a whole lot you can do about that play. Keep your feet moving. Playing some years in Candlestick Park, once your feet stop moving, the baseball will go all over the place and bounce on you. The ball's going to find you when you get into a big league
James is the hitter. Split time between AAA Toledo and the Tigers last year. Hit 300 both places. Replacing Johnny Peralta in the lineup. So the Nats have Bixler at third, Espinosa short, Gonzalez to second. Roger Bernardina's in center field. And Storen rides a fastball upstairs, 2-1. And a ball golfed up the middle. Two on, one out.
And part of the maturation process at the major league level for relievers is pitching around mistakes, pitching around errors, being able to reel it in when all heck is breaking loose behind you. So it's a good situation for Storm.
Tyler Clippard.
Another thing Riggleman was saying today about the relievers, they're pitching every 4 days down here. They're scheduled to pitch. They pitch on their days. A lot of the Nationals relievers last year were better the more they pitched. You know, Clippard's an example. Drew Storen's an example. Burnett's another example of guys that when Riggleman uses them 2-3 days in a row, they're more effective. And right now, they haven't gotten in that rhythm, that in-season rhythm where, the phone rings, you get up, and you got to go in there and get the job done.
By the way, that was Jonathan Van Every we saw in left field. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 aboard, 1 out here. Tigers trying to put the ball game away in the 8th inning. And a front door slider stays up and in, 2-1. The hitter is Danny Worth, who came in to play third base last inning. And the catcher, Alex Sevilla, is next. Storen has him reaching with a pretty good fastball away.
A couple of fastballs away, set up for the slider right now. If you're Drew Storen, you don't have to necessarily think about a strikeout. You're looking for a pitch you can get a ground ball with, 2 outs in 1 play. And sometimes closers or relievers don't think like that. You get out of this jam with 1 pitch, it's a ground ball to short.
2-2. A hanging slider, and that ball's into the gap. Tigers will lead 5-2 and maybe 6-1, pardon me, by the end of this. Nats have 1 run. So 2 come home to score it. It is 6-1. And quite simply, Drew Storen just hung one right in the strike zone there. An error, a single, a double, and the Tigers have put 2 more on the board.
Let's check out the pitch, a slider up in the strike zone. Set up for a slider down, maybe bounce one, go to a 3-2 count, but that one just spun up there, stayed high. And major league hitters aren't going to miss that pitch very often.
Still only 1 out here in the 8th. This will not help Drew Storen's 12+ ERA. This may be a question that would have been outrageous a week or 2 ago, but is Drew Storen guaranteed a spot on this team, in this bullpen?
I would say definitely. you never get too high with spring training numbers, and you never get too low with spring training. And there's spring training. These games don't count. I know, he's been scuffling, throwing strikes, and they're hitting balls all over the campsite off him every single time he goes out there. But, if you see this in April, Bob, then, you have to make a decision then, or May. I just don't think you get too carried away with spring training, whether a guy's hitting 800 or a pitcher's got a 14 ERA. What did you do in the heat of battle last year? What is your track record?
Fair enough. 1-2 now.
And it makes for good conversation. There's no doubt about it. You just can't let it affect you. If you have that switch to when, okay, the bell's ringing, it's March 31st, it's opening day, I get a clean slate, I get to erase that 14 ERA or whatever it is, that's a weight off your back.
Tough play for LaRoche. Great scoop. And a good feed to Storing for the second out. Get used to seeing that, folks. This guy can play some serious first base.
On the run, a little top spin hop. He just opened up his back pocket and let the ball drop it. Look how easy LaRoche makes his play look. That is a tough play, folks. A little in-between hop. Soft hands. And the perfect feed to Storing. They've worked on that every single day in spring training. The old PFP, pitcher's fundamental practice.
I think first base is the hardest position in the league at which to make an all-star team to begin with. And then in some cases to get recognized for your glove work. Ryan Bixler, he's going to drift with the breeze. Nats give up 2 runs, one of them unearned. And LaRoche will bat after Worth, ahead, bottom 8.
We are back in Vieira, the Nats trailing the Tigers by a score of 6-1 as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. I am joined now by Mr. Versatility, Jerry Hairston Jr., and I have to say I have at least 4 stars by your name today. Your defense was just outstanding there.
Well, I mean, the bat wasn't there today, especially hadn't been there the last couple of days, but it's spring training, still working out the kinks, a little rusty with the bat, but, you can always throw the leather.
How hard is that to get ready at the plate when you're not in there on a very consistent basis?
Well, it's hard, especially, playing in spring training, maybe playing once, twice, 3 times a week, just trying to get your timing. You want to see a lot of pitches and make sure you're ready for opening day.
Jerry, everybody knows that you're from a very good baseball family, and just what benefit does that have for you, having had your dad play and your brother plays?
Well, I don't think it hurts. I think it does help, being around the game, knowing how to play the game. We have a lot of guys in the clubhouse that grew up, with their fathers, guys like Jason Worth, comes from a baseball family, Adam LaRoche. It definitely helps, but my father always says I'm the one up there hitting. He can't help me from that aspect, but just being around the game, it does help.
Jerry, you're going to be joining our Masson family this season, and tell us a little bit about your role with Masson.
Well, I just hope you follow us here at Masson. It's a great network. Just giving the fans a little insight about our team. We're a young and up and coming team, and very aggressive, and should be excited.
Okay, thank you so much, Jerry Hairston Jr. Let's go back up to you, Bob, FP.
All right, Debbie, and thanks to our newest, evidently, Masson blogger, Jerry Hairston. We'll be hearing from Jerry. Fu Tae Ni is the new Detroit pitcher. And Jason Worth with a solid single up the middle. And here's Adam LaRoche right after him. Nationals have 10 hits today. Only one producing a run. That was the Stairs solo home run last inning. Fu Tae Ni, left-hander. High ERA in 22 ball games last year. 9th game in the spring. In 9 innings, he's only given up 3 hits and 1 run. LaRoche gets jammed and golfs it out to center for Wells. Finally grabs the ball over in the gap for the first out. Adam LaRoche 0 for 3 with a walk today, and Wilson Ramos will now be pinch hit for by Jesus Flores. Right now, we are hearing that Wilson Ramos may turn into a whole lot more than a backup catcher here. In fact, could quite possibly be the opening day catcher. We shall see. And that, of course, leaves Jesus Flores in that little limbo area. Does he go to AAA? Does another ball club get interested in him? I would think, FP, that if the Nationals do not keep Jesus Flores at the big league level, they definitely want him at AAA. He's still a good prospect. But I would have to think there would be some other ball clubs around baseball interested in him. Didn't you say it was, what, a week or two ago when Arizona was taking a pretty good look at him?
Maybe Houston, when Castro went down with a knee injury,
yeah,
they were looking at him. But, you know, Flores just needs some at-bats. You talk about all the time he's missed with his injuries. You know, maybe you start at the big league level. Maybe you go to AAA and get some ABs under your belt, get locked in, and then get called up. I think this is a guy the Nationals want to keep around in this organization.
Jesus, 23 at-bats this spring, and a fly ball to right that'll be handled by Thomas, 2 outs. Wilson Ramos a double today. Started the day at 267 with a homer, 2 RBIs. And we know what Jesus is capable of. Big, strong, right-handed hitter. Both very good defensively, good catch and throw guys. There's Bernardina now playing center field. There's that frisbee breaking ball for a strike from the left-hander.
Ramos so excited to be over here from the Twins. Get a chance to catch every single day, or catch a lot.
That wasn't going to happen up there, was it?
No. He was told of the trade. Yeah. Super excited. And now he's here. You talk about working with the pitchers, getting to know what they like to throw. And he takes great pride in the fingers he puts down behind the plate. You get that relationship with the catcher and the staff. And you love guys that go back there and they're worried about every single pitch they call, and they do their homework.
With the runner going, a ball that gashes right off the mound and to the shortstop, Santiago. Nats are done in the 8th. They've stranded 8 runners today. Offensive chances galore here at Space Coast. On to the top of the ninth inning. Tigers on top of the Nats, 6-1. And a reminder, the Power Pack is coming your way. It's all inclusive, and it starts at just $25 a ticket. It's a season-long plan offering parking, food, and drink. Stop by nationals.com/powerpack for more information. Some restrictions do apply, but it's a great way to enjoy Nationals baseball at the ballpark this year. Tyler Clippard.
Another guy not having a spring the way he would like from a numbers standpoint. You know, you talk about working on things, but he had a tough spring last year, and you see the results. And talking to Riggleman earlier today, he's one of the guys that he mentioned has to go out there every single day, 2 or 3 days in a row. And these guys haven't done that yet. So, a 15.19 ERA right now. Like I said, they never put those stats on the back of your baseball card. Spring training stats, Bob, have never been on the back of a baseball card ever.
You have convinced me of that this spring, and that's a good thing. Casper Wells leads off top of the ninth, and we love it when Clippard goes first pitch fastball to guys. He has a great changeup, but there were times when Tyler would get himself in trouble with the changeup and then have to come in with the fastball. Hey, he's got a breaking ball too. Just into the ball game, Tyler Moore giving chase, along with Jason Worth behind him, and he does a good job of catching the fair ball on the run. Tyler Moore, former minor league player of the year for the Nats.
Now batting number 25, Ryan Rayburn.
You talk about getting it locked in and getting ready for the season. Jason Worth in the game in the ninth inning.
I like it. That's probably at his request. So I know the veteran guys and the manager, they communicate on such things on a daily basis.
He's got a little extra growth since the last time we were down here.
I think some of it since the first inning he's been out there. So. Ryan Rayburn, the hitter, 1 for 3 with a run scored, not an RBI, but a walk. And he gets one to the left side, beyond the reach of Brian Pitchler. Somebody in the dugout just said Hairston would have had that.
It was probably Hairston. I'd have had that.
1 on, 1 out. Brian Pitchler, though, has had a very good spring. He has opened some eyes down here with his bat, hitting .375 right now with a pair of home runs and 7 RBIs. That may be a live bat in Syracuse if somebody else doesn't gobble him up. Foul ball off the bat of Don Kelly. Kelly has looked pretty hitterish here today with a 2-run homer. He jacked another line drive to the track, caught by Worth, and last time up he lined out to the shortstop. Went down and got that home run.
Not a bad pitch either. Off the plate in, just dropped the barrel on the baseball, got it up in the wind a little bit.
That ball right over the pitching rubber. Espinosa can't get it. Base hit for Don Kelly, who continues to swing the bat well.
Not bad for a last-minute replacement. A couple of hits today. One of them a home run, base hit up the middle. Clippard doing his job, getting ground balls. They're just not at people right now. They're finding holes. And when you have an ERA in the 15s in spring training, that's how it goes. You get to the season, maybe things change. Ground balls right at people.
Rayburn at second, Kelly at first, and the hitter, Cleet Thomas. Hard breaking ball down and in. Tyler Clippard's a 3-pitch pitcher. That's why he's, over the years, intrigued some people around here as a possible starter someday. He's got a whole lot more than the fastball and just the changeup.
And a lot of elbows and kneecaps and deception to go with it. When you're standing in that batter's box and you see a delivery like that, and all this stuff going on, and this ball comes out of nowhere, it's tough to pick up.
Then he goes fastball away. Not really where Flores was set up, and he still got a strike with it. Tailing to the corner. 6-1 Tigers, top of the ninth. Hits are even at 10. That's pretty good stuff. Foul tip. Tyler throwing more breaking balls, I think, in one inning than I've ever seen him throw. Evidently working on that.
And working on keeping the ball down. Good 0-2 pitch right there. Did he get a piece of that?
Yeah,
obviously he did, but
don't know how. Fastball up and away.
Go right back to that curveball. Looked like Thomas didn't see the curveball from Clippard very well. Changing his eye line right there. Now you got him looking up in the strike zone. He's set up for that curveball down.
Two balls, two strikes with one out here in the ninth. Tyler now having a hard time getting over the top of that one. That appeared to be a high changeup.
He's flying open a little bit, arms dragging behind, missing high in the strike zone.
He went, and that's a strikeout. Ball was probably out of the strike zone, but Thomas couldn't stop, and that's the second out.
A fastball at the top of the strike, so let's see if he went. Yes, he did. Strike three. Better view right here. Clearly went. That's what we were talking about earlier. I would have still argued about that. Didn't go right there.
There's Brennan Bosch hitting for the Tigers in the DH spot. This is a lively bat. 256 for the Tigers with 14 homers and 67 RBIs a year ago. The Nats got a good dose of him in Detroit when he swung the bat well during that 3-game sweep by the Tigers. Big, strong guy. 6'4", 235. Changeup. 2-0. Clippard really working on all of his pitches here. That looked like a breaking ball, low and inside, ball 3. 2 hits, a strikeout here in the ninth. And the bases are loaded. As we mentioned earlier, the Nats' team ERA is a full run higher than it was a week ago. Bullpen, a strength of this ball club last year. Here's our base running bunch. Rayburn at third, Kelly at second, and Bosch at first with 2 outs. And the hitter will be Will Rhymes, who came on last inning, had a base hit and scored a run.
Is that Marsha Brady in the middle? Greg Brady to the right?
That's our base running bunch.
And Steve McCaddy out there trying to fix Tyler Clippard right now. We talked about the speech today and the importance of strike one. Tyler Clippard having a tough time finding the strike zone. Get ahead right here and get it out, it can all be forgotten.
Will Rhymes with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the 9th. And a chopper to the right side. Backhand play by Tyler Moore on to Clippard. And the Nats are out of the inning. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Washington needs a big time frame, down 6-1. On to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last chance to grab a souvenir jersey or two. And for the Nationals, their final chance. Look at our game summary. Tom Gorzolani, a very respectable outing today. 1 pitch cost him 2 runs. Alberto Gonzalez in the number 9 hole, a perfect day with the bat. Matt Stairs, a solo home run. The Nats' only real damage today.
We were talking about whether Matt Stairs is going to make the team. Well, if he keeps doing this, it would be tough to keep him off the 25-man roster. It's what he does best. He goes up there, 1 swing of the bat, home run.
Jason Worth put in a full day, 9 innings in the field. Brian Bixler will lead off, then Danny Espinosa, then Alberto Gonzalez, and left-hander Brad Thomas will take over. Thomas is from Sydney, Australia. 49 games, 2 starts for the Tigers last year. Won 6 games and a 3.89 ERA. Making 33 years of age, a big fella. 6'4", 234. Here's Brian Bixler, former Pittsburgh Pirate, having a good spring. Holds the bat high and almost like Julio Franco points the bat barrel right at the pitcher.
A good spring, 375 with the average. Slugging percentage, 719. He's got 3 doubles and 2 jacks. So he's not just hitting singles, he's driving the baseball.
Well, we just saw a little bit of him over a 2-year period with the Pirates. Fastball up, 2-1. Hope you can join us Friday night, 6 o'clock, right here in Vieira. The Nats and the Cardinals. Jim Riggleman, a longtime association with that franchise. Learned a lot of baseball under Whitey Herzog, who's now a Hall of Famer. The innovative Tony La Russa will be here Friday night. Who knows where the pitchers might be hitting in that game unless they do the DH thing. Leadoff walk.
Good at bat. All started with a leadoff walk at the bottom of the ninth.
You're writing the post-game script already, are you? Danny Espinosa's having a good spring, too, hitting .317. Baseball America knows what they're talking about. Top 5 prospects. Wow. Got to see a lot of 3 of them right here in the spring. And we know about Derek Norris. Got a bit of a taste of him last week when Derek Norris hit that walk-off bases-loaded single in the bottom of the 9th inning. And somebody in the Tiger dugout's not real happy with what he is seeing right now.
You got a 5-run lead in the bottom of the 9th. That's all you have to do is come in and throw strikes. That's the only thing you have to do as a pitcher, and nothing will make it a manager more mad. The guy that comes in and walks the yard when you got a lead. Throw the ball right down the middle of the plate and see what happens.
Leadoff man aboard for Danny Espinosa with a 1-ball count. Don't you know it's always a fastball after the pitching coach comes out?
Not necessarily a strike, though. Talked to Danny Espinosa today. His foot is feeling fine after smoking one off his front leg when he was hitting left-handed the other day.
Hits it hard up the middle, but a nice big hop for Rhymes. Santiago turns the 4-6-3.
And that's about the only way you're going to double up Danny Espinosa. Absolute bullet right to the second baseman. Getting down the line quick. Can't steer it off your bat. Good swing by Espinosa. Just unfortunate it ended in a double play.
Alberto Gonzalez will step in, hitting .311 on a 3-for-3 day thus far. And Alberto lays off a hard breaking ball, boring in on him. Nationals down in Jupiter tomorrow to play St. Louis behind Livan Hernandez. Sean Burnett, another lefty. Doug Slayton and Todd Coffey scheduled to pitch again tomorrow. Although Coffey got extended a little bit today, so his outing tomorrow may be in question. Target inside on 1-2. Gonzalez fights it off. Nats spring training record, barring a 9th inning miracle here, will fall to 10-12. Tigers will improve to 17-9. Two and 2 to Gonzalez. Hits even at 10 today by the Tigers. 2 runs in the 3rd, 7th, and the 8th. The 7th and the 8th featuring some Nationals errors, and 2 of those 4 runs in those frames unearned. Gonzalez with a chopper over the mound. Can he have a 4-for-4 day? He will. Ball gets through cleanly, and he'll be at first base with 2 outs.
Alberto Gonzalez living right today with 4 hits. Like we talked about earlier, you want to save those for the season, but you'll take a 4-for-4 anytime. Give the Nationals life, and Ian Desmond a plate appearance.
And a pinch hitting appearance here for Niger Morgan. It'll be Ian Desmond. Desmond, a decent spring, .292. He's 14 for 48 with 4 RBIs. Fastball at the knees, counts even.
I talked to Ian Desmond today. I said, "You ready to go north?" He said, "Absolutely." And I think we need to talk to all the Nationals players, especially the veteran guys, not so much the young guys like Desmond. They got all their stuff together. They're ready. They're just amped up for opening day. And Bob, you know, you've been around the game long enough. You get to a certain time in spring training where you've already worked on everything. You've already done everything. And it's hard to get up for the games. You kind of hit the wall at this point, just from a standpoint of you want the games to count.
The one thing, though, I will never take for granted is getting too bored with spring training. After sitting in booths in 1995 and watching replacement players for a month. A drive to the gap in right center. Gonzalez stops at third. Desmond a double. And the Nats have 2 hits in the inning. But with all due respect to those young men who were fighting to play in the major leagues, that was a horrible spring training. And so ever since then, it seemed like not too bad. That was really bad.
Well, Ian Desmond is definitely not a plumber, so you got to be excited about that as he hits this double into left field, right center field. And, you know, you come off the bench, you want to contribute any way you can, keep the game going. And for a guy that's used to playing every single day, sometimes pitch hitting is tough. Desmond with a nice job of doing what he does best, hitting the ball in the gap to right center field.
Well, here's Michael Morse, who was hitting way over 400 a week ago. He's still at 348. 5 homers, more than anybody else in Vieira, and 11 RBIs. Surprisingly, Danny Espinosa has more RBIs than Morse with 12. But the Nats swinging the bats here in the 9th inning against the left-hander Brad Thomas. Fastball right in there. Now, during the regular season, Michael Morse might be jumping all over that pitch, because guys who do some pinch hitting duties late in the ballgame, they'll tell you first fastball, you're wailing. But Michael won't be worried about that. He'll be having his 4th at bat of the game. Times like this. That's low and inside.
A lot of times when you're down by 4 or 5 runs, the manager will make you take a strike in the 9th inning, make the pitcher work a little bit, trying to get base runners on. Unless you're the tying run, you know, there's no real need to swing at the first strike. You know, make the pitcher work, try to get on base, keep the line moving.
And Morse gets a big hack and fouls it away. This guy's been hacking down here.
Well, he broke up an 0 for 13 spell with a double the other day. And when we were here last time, you know, he's barreling up everything. And, you know, what does that 0 for 13 mean? Absolutely nothing. It just means that, you know, you're not getting hits. He said his swing still feels fine. He made an adjustment the other day, a little ground rule double to get back on the board.
1-2 to Morse. This all started with 2 outs on the Gonzalez scratch hit. Out past short. Clean shot into the gap by Ian Desmond. Ian's now up around 300 for the spring. And Morse, not getting cheated in there, hacks again.
And he's one of those guys, you come to the ballpark, you watch play, whatever happens with this at-bat, it's exciting. And he's up there letting it fly from both cheeks every single time. And whether he runs into one and hits it out of the ballpark or strikes out, his at-bats are fun to watch, are exciting. A very exciting player. One of those late bloomers, a lot like Jason Worth.
Fastball up, 3-2. Lance Nix is on deck for Jason Worth if Morse extends this 9th inning. And Michael hits it hard to short. Santiago has it, and so do the Tigers. They beat the Nats 6-1, and Washington falls to 10-12 on the spring.
I was impressed with Corzolani today. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. He had a good tempo out there, was throwing strikes, kept his team in the game, and I was also very impressed with Justin Verlander. What a game for him. Good stuff today. Changeup, curveball, fastball. He was outstanding.
That's F.P. Santangelo, and for Debbie Taylor, Bob Carpenter. Tigers win it 6-1. Tune in, final spring training telecast Friday against the Cardinals at 6 p.m. This has been a presentation of Masson. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Friday night from Viera.